Hello, trading is closed on February 5th, 2021. Today's the 6th. Let's start with our disclaimer as we always do. It's my prediction for what will happen on Monday the 8th. Don't forget I can be completely wrong, so trade at your own risk. Please follow the rules of my channel. My email, mejt.trades@gmail.com. We said that the employment report was coming out. It was hard to predict. We used the standard rules for mixed signals. Commonest thing is a gap at the trade outside the prior day's range, and that happened. Look for the pattern with the early low. That's it. Monday also has the early low. During the day, MEJT said this drop is false, gave an ultimate buy signal, and gives us higher targets. Target is 3892.1, most likely to print Monday, and ultimately 3893.93. Don't forget that when you're near an all-time high, if this is a major change in trend, MEJT will almost always leave a failed target. Now this is a pattern which typically rallies into the close. When that doesn't happen, it's negative. When you gap up, hit a higher high, close under all these highs, that's negative. So it should be lower prices, but don't forget that Monday's open's a substitute for today's close. So if we do gap up and overtake this high, all that negativity goes away. So if we gap up and take this out, the rally can continue. If we don't take this out fast, we should see lower prices. Well, here's the modified way of my long-term count. I'm suspicious this one isn't going to work. We do have this trend line. We are running into it right now. We've had to modify this a few times. I was pretty confident this high here was going to hold. If we reverse promptly, there still could be what's called a 2B top. Because you're right at resistance, it isn't impossible. But if we gap up and take out all these trend lines, I think the whole idea is going to collapse. So let's just put the long-term pattern on hold for now, because this is something I didn't think was going to happen. Let's focus on what's going to happen Monday. Monday's pattern has yearly low. It could still gap up. Friday's normally bullish pattern did not close near its high. Furthermore, we gapped up, hit a higher high, and closed under the intraday highs. All this is negative. Unless we gap and promptly overtake Friday's high, we should see lower prices at some point. Doesn't mean you have to close lower. But such a gap isn't impossible at all because we have a higher MEJT target, and that's bullish. Unless we gap down smartly, it should print. So the most likely thing is we gap and promptly move outside the day's range. Friday's high lacked some of the characteristics I expect to see if the rally were over. Doesn't mean we can't trade lower first. But even if we do trade lower, I don't think today's high is going to hold forever. Even though longer-term market action remains toppy, I'm still looking for lower prices by the end of the month, but I might have to revise that if we don't reverse pretty soon. Maybe Norm Winsky can help us out. He's going to come in later on today, give us his stock market prediction for the whole year. So we have mixed indicators for Monday's trade. We have higher targets. All we need to do to continue the rally is to gap and print them, take out this high. But if that doesn't happen, we should see lower prices. And the sentiment indicators, secondary indicators, are still compatible with the top, but we had a much more plausible top a few weeks ago, and I'm not convinced this one's going to hold, even if we do trade down first, which is entirely possible. And that's today's call.